So, how are you? Hope you are fine and good at your home, doing justice with your studies, feeling safe. Okay. Now, my topic as continues US hegemony in world politics. And I told hegemony means where you want to stay at the world politics, right? Means you want to show the power of world politics to the world, right? Constantly trying to be in the power politics. Whether a country wants to be in power politics, that is called hegemony. And I told you yesterday also that America wants to be always in power, wants to be always in limelight, wants to be always as a superpower. Okay. Now, something happened in America after the Second World War. I told you that it dropped, atomic bomb here in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and it shows the power of US and a whole world, was there to watch the US hegemony. Now, in August, yeah, I enlarged the screen. In August 1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait, rapidly occupying and subsequently annexing it. And I will slow and steadily, I will define the whole chapter paragraph by paragraph so that you should feel comfortable to learn the aspect of this lesson. Very interesting topic. क्या हुआ था कि 1990 के अंदर इराक is a country, right? And that time Saddam Hussein was the king of Iraq. Monarchism was there. Iraq invaded Kuwait and rapidly occupying and subsequently annexing it. एक के बाद कुवैत एक छोटी सी कंट्री है because Kuwait is rich in oil and natural gases, minerals. So Kuwait को वो capture करना चाहता था. वो Iraq wants to capture it. So he subsequently occupying many parts and after some days it annexed it. मतलब इसने totally Kuwait को capture कर लिया. Kuwait was gone. Its interim government was gone. Everything was gone. And uh, in Kuwait, the control was by Iraq. In Kuwait, the control was by Iraq. After a series of diplomatic attempts failed, means obviously when a country is occupying another country and this Kuwait went to UN that please save us and Iraq has captured us. So UN wants that everything should be settled in peace and cool atmosphere. So series of diplomatic attempts failed. बहुत सारे diplomatic attempts हुए और वो flop हो गए. Then convincing Iraq to quit its aggression or UN and other UN that is organization and many other countries who were the members of UN, they tried to persuade Iraq. उन्होंने इराक को समझाने की कोशिश की, कन्विंस करने की कोशिश की, पर इराक नहीं माना. Right. Then what happened? United Nations gave the order to attack on Iraq. Right. So UN, this was a dramatic decision after years of deadlock during the Cold War. Cold War के बाद ये पहली एक बड़ी जंग थी जिसे UN ने शुरू किया था. The US president at that time was George W. Bush. George W. Bush वहाँ के president थे. कहाँ के? US के, United States of America के. He was the president. George Bush hailed the emergence of New World Order. This was he called New World Order कि इराक के ऊपर हमला किया जाए by the forces, United Nations forces, and led by US military forces led by, उसको लीड कौन कर रहा था, यूएस लीड कर रहा था. और basically a massive coalition force of 6,60,000 troops from 34 countries. 34 देशों ने 34 कंट्रीज से इस लड़ाई में हिस्सा लिया. कौन सी लड़ाई में? कुवैत और इराक, और इराक को दबाने की लड़ाई में. ईरान, अमेरिका और इराक कह लो, एंड यूनाइटेड नेशंस और इराक कह लो, वॉट एवर यू थिंक दैट इज करेक्ट. United Nations, because United Nations ordered it, and United States of America was leading it, so there was a ladai between Iraq and US, United States of America. So complete forces were near about 6,60,000 within 34 countries. 34 देशों ने अपनी सेनाएं भेजी और उनकी संख्या थी 6,60,000. Right, from 34 countries. They fought against Iraq and defeated it in came to be known as First Gulf War. So a question could be possible in your final examination. What do you know about this 2 marks question? It's a small question. 2 marks question. Please underline करना शुरू कर. Don't listen only the stories of Iran Iraq war and so on, United Nations, blah blah blah. But you should have some pencil and underline the aspect. You underline it. The first question is, what do you know about first Gulf War? जो फर्स्ट गल्फ वॉर जहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है ना, उसके नीचे लिख दो क्वेश्चन, इंटरनल क्वेश्चन, IQ, internal questions, right? However, the yeah, UN operation, however, the UN operation which was called Operation Desert Storm, UN is said to basically America is saying it was saying first Gulf War, but UNO gave another name. UNO gave another name, and that name was Operation Desert Storm. It could come like this also. Would you know about Operation Desert Storm? IQ, internal questions. Was overwhelming, and Desert Storm was overwhelmingly American. And American General Norman led the UN coalition, and nearly 75% of the coalition forces were from the US, although the Iraq President Saddam Hussein had promised the mother of all battles. The Iraqi forces were quickly defeated and forced to withdraw from Kuwait. Now, what happened? Norman जो थे general थे, he was leading the all the forces of 6,60,000 massive army, and Saddam Hussein said that mother of all war, हम आके दम तक लड़ेंगे, मरते दम तक लड़ेंगे, बहुत कुछ कहा सद्दाम हुसैन ने. But there was a lot of gap between Iraqi forces and American forces or UN forces. Lack of gap means advanced. They were very advanced. The technology was very advanced. Whose technology? US technology was very advanced. Or you can say it was a computer war. It was a technological war. It was a war of highest technological warfare. Highest technological warfare. Right between Iraq and US, United States of America. 75% of the coalition forces were supported by US. 75% जो था US के forces थे. और सद्दाम हुसैन ने जो जरूर कहा था the mother of all battles, but Saddam Hussein was, and its army and his army was badly defeated. And within few days they start, they start the battlefield. Quitting का मतलब quit करना, छोड़ना. The first Gulf War revealed the vast technological gap I told you just now. Here, this is technological warfare. Considered revealed the first technological gap they had opened up between US military capability and that of other states. The highly publicized use of so-called smart bombs by the US led some observers to call this is a computer war. I told you just now. Widespread television coverage. The war was going to be live telecast because, George W. Bush, he was absolutely damn sure that, Americans or UN forces are going to win. Where is one country and where is 34 countries? जस्ट इमेजिन कीजिए. बस इस तरह से देख लीजिए ना, एक आदमी को 34 लोग मार रहे हैं. एक बहुत तगड़ा आदमी है, बट उनको उनको 34 लोग 34 पीपल आर दे आर बीटिंग हिम. So 34 people beating on one man, so you can well know the condition of that particular one person. And that one man equals to Iraq. 34 people are basically coalition forces of United States of America or US. Widespread television coverage was there, made it a video game war. इसको video game war भी कहते हैं. इसका मतलब नाम तो मैंने आपके पास आज ले लिया. सबसे पहले हुआ video game war, last one. We start from the last. Then Operation Desert Storm. Then Iraqi president said it as a mother of all war. Then it was the first Gulf War. Every main maybe name is separate, but the causes and consequences and the country name is same. It is the same happen. Whatever the answer will be the same. Then video game war with viewers around the world watching the destruction of Iraqi forces live on TV on comfort of their living room. It was a direct telecast war. मैंने ये फर्स्ट टाइम था कि आप एक लड़ाई को यू हैव सीन लॉट ऑफ वॉर इन योर इन योर वीडियो गेम्स एंड मूवीज, राइट. बहुत सारी लड़ाइयाँ आपने देखेंगे, हॉलीवुड मूवीज, बॉलीवुड मूवीज एंड ऑल, राइट. तो आपने फिल्म दैट वाज अ फिल्म, टेलीविजन के अंदर फिल्मांकन होता है, वो फिल्म फिल्म को दिखाई जाती है. बट दैट वाज नॉट फिल्म, दैट वाज लाइव टेलीकास्ट ऑफ वॉर जोन, इन फ्रॉम वॉर जोन से लाइव टेलीकास्ट हो रहा था कैसे फोर्सेस इराक के फोर्सेस को खत्म कर रही हैं, एंड हाउ दे आर फाइटिंग द वॉर विद द इराकी फोर्सेस. एंड द पीपल वर सिटिंग इन द लिविंग रूम मतलब बेडरूम, sorry, drawing room में बैठकर they were watching the television, how Iraqi forces are being destroyed. So then what happened? Watching the destruction of Iraqi forces in their comfort zone of their living room. Incredibly, incredibly, the US may actually have made a profit from the war. US को बहुत प्रॉफिट हुआ, क्योंकि यूएस यहाँ पे अकेला नहीं था, दूसरी जो अदर कंट्रीज है ना, दे दे फंडेड यूएस. उन्होंने यूएस को बहुत सारा पैसा दिया. जापान वाज देयर, जर्मनी वाज देयर, सऊदी अरेबिया वाज देयर. they it had spent on the war. They gave money, they gave their currency to dollars to us. So us was rich from the donation from the other countries. Saudi Arabia, million dollars they gave to US, right? Then Germany was also there. Then Japan was also there. So they also gave lot of money to the United States of America, and United States of America made a lot of profit, right? Next is the Clinton era, the Clinton years, Clinton era years, whatever you say. Fine. But despite winning the first Gulf War, George H.W. Bush lost the US president election in 1992 to William Jefferson Bill Clinton. जॉर्ज बुश ने तो लड़ाई जीती, पर वो अपने घर की जंग हार गया. मतलब जब इलेक्शन हुए थे ना, तो वो हार गए, राइट. And George W. Bush was he lost his election campaign in his election, and another person came. His name was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, a smart damn personality, but his focus was in the domestic affairs. His focus was in domestic affairs. Okay, we will discuss it later on. The US presidential election 1992, William Jefferson Bill Clinton of the Democratic Party, who had campaigned on democratic rather than the foreign policy, domestic rather than foreign policy issues. अभी मैंने आपको बताया कि बिल क्लिंटन जीता क्यों? बिल क्लिंटन इसलिए जीता क्योंकि उसने डोमेस्टिक प्रॉब्लम्स को इट 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 मैग्निफाइड डोमेस्टिक प्रॉब्लम्स मैग्निफाइड domestic problems. He used to say that first we should solve the problem of domestic affairs. Then we can spread our wings to the international affairs. Our domestic affairs are being disturbed. How can we satisfy from the world affairs? Right. So Bill Clinton was won again in 1996. First of all, Bill Clinton in 1992 and then 1996. Means two consecutively presidential election. Bill Clinton was president for 8 years. One session of presidentship of America is 4 years. Two consecutive elections. He served. He was a winner. It means he was the president of America for 8 years and thus remained the president of for US for 8 years. During the Clinton years, it yeah, right. So during the Clinton years, it often seemed that the US had withdrawn into its international affairs and was not fully engaged in the world politics. US ने देखा and the world scenario also knew that US is not very much interested in world politics first. It is said that Bill Clinton was very much interested in soft issues like employment, like power generation, like development, like medical fitness, like food and other problems, like peace and communication. So, जो मैंने अभी बात बताई, जो भी पॉइंट्स बताए, ये सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर है, सॉफ्ट इश्यूज है. And heavy issues are arms and ammunition, race between two countries of arms and ammunition, nuclear warfare, how to improve the technology in warfare zone. Right? So these were the heavy ones. So he was not fully engaged in world politics. In foreign policy, Clinton government tended to focus on the soft issues like domestic, democracy, promotion, climatic change, and world trade, rather than on the hard politics of military power and the security. I told you just now. उसको ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट नहीं था कि हार्ड पॉलिटिक्स में. He was कि पहले सबसे पहले घर के मसले हल करो, बाहर के मसले तो बाहर की बात की बात है. ठीक है. बट लेट मी टेल यू वन, ऐसा नहीं है. It is not like this that during the Bill Clinton era, you know, there was no tension outside of American border. Let's see. US on occasion did show its readiness to use military power even during the Clinton years. The most important part episode occurred in 1999 in response to the Yugoslavian action against the predominantly Albanian population in the province of Kosovo. Kosovo के अंदर, uh, it was their army attacked its own people. They killed many thousands of people. Then America interfered and they attacked on Kosovo. Kosovo was a communist country earlier and it was a part of यूएसएसआर। यूएसएसआर से डिसइंटीग्रेशन हुआ था ना, 15 नए कंट्रीज बने थे, उनमें कोसोवो भी था। एंड वहां पे अल्बेनियन पॉपुलेशन होती। In the province of Kosovo, the air forces of NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, countries led by the US, bombarded targets around Yugoslavia. अब तो यूगोस्लेविया खत्म हो चुका है, because after the disintegration, Yugoslavia is gone, new countries there, right? So, well over 2 months, forcing the downfall of the government of Slobodan Milosevic and stationing of NATO force in Kosovo. तो अमेरिका ने क्या किया, कोसोवो के अंदर नाटो फोर्सेस भेजी, नॉर्थ अटलांटिक ट्रीटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, और वहां पे जाके लड़ाई बंद हुई, बिकॉज अमेरिका वाज देयर टू फाइट द वॉर विद अदर पीपल हु अटैक्ड इन कोसोवो. Another significant war, another significant US military action was Clinton year was response to the bombing of US embassy in Nairobi, Kenya and Dar es Salaam. ये क्या प्रॉब्लम थी? Dar es Salaam is a country, Kenya is a country, Nairobi is a country. These are all basically African countries. In Africa, and Sudan is also there. Sudan and others, they are basically under the threat of terrorism. यहाँ पर टेररिज्म बहुत था, राइट? और कौन चलाता था टेररिज्म? अल चला. अल का नाम सुना होगा. अल कायदा was supporting Islamic Jihad or Islamic terrorism. So there was a war, and not a direct war by Americans, but they bombarded on Nairobi, Kenya, and Dar es Salaam, Tanzania in 1998. Bombing of US assemblies in Nairobi के अंदर US assembly embassy हो. Embassy. Every country is having its own embassy in every country. Like we have got the embassy in Nairobi, also we have got the embassy of in Dar es Salaam, also we have got the embassy in Kuwait or Iraq also. So Americans were also having embassies throughout the world, or throughout the country, their own embassy. राजदूत को कहते हो आप लोग. हर एक देश में अमेरिका के या इंडिया के दूसरे कंट्री से राजदूत होते हैं. But there was a embassy के अंदर there was terrorist attack by Al Qaeda. तो इससे उन्होंने बिल क्लिंटन ने इसका बदला लिया. Al Qaeda, these bombings were attributed to Al Qaeda, a terrorist organization strongly influenced by extremist Islamic Jihad or ideas. Within a few days of this bombing, President Clinton ordered Operation Infinite reach a series of cruise missile strikes at Al Qaeda terrorist targets in Sudan and Afghanistan. अफगानिस्तान और सूडान में बहुत ज्यादा टेररिस्ट एक्टिविटीज होती हैं. अलकायदा इज फंडिंग देम. अलकायदा उनको फंड करता है. अलकायदा इज इटसेल्फ अ टेररिस्ट एक्टिविटी ग्रुप. The US did not bother about the UN sanction or provision of international law in this regard. Basically, UN says that when we will sanction the war, you should go for the war. As it sanctioned the war against Iraq, whatever happened in Kuwait. So could be possible, it could be very late, but America didn't respond this. Israel didn't respond the UN sanction and all. It it goes it had a good confrontation with these countries और उसने उनके ऊपर अटैक कर दिया. It was alleged that some of the targets were civilian facilities unconnected to terrorism. बहुत से सिविलियन लोग मारे गए. कहाँ पे? Al Qaeda के, sorry, bombardment by the US forces. This was merely a beginning. और ये तो सिर्फ शुरुआत थी. माने कि basically क्लिंटन के एरा में लड़ाई की शुरुआत थी. Clinton, if any person says Clinton was not a strong person, soft, soft person towards the international affairs, and he was very much focused on domestic affairs, no, it was wrong. Clinton was very much interested in doing domestic also, as well as in foreign affairs also, and it gave its order of attack, direct confrontation. It killed army people and civilians of the civilians of Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, Kenya, Sudan, and all. Right? They have not done anything wrong against U.S. United States of America. But the one thing was that Al Qaeda was stationed in Afghanistan and other countries, Dar es Salaam and Kenya. Lots of countries are there where this Al Qaeda group was very much active. So he bombarded and all, and many people were civilian people were killed. They have no connection with the terrorist activity. So tomorrow I will do 9/11 and the global war on terror, and it's a very interesting topic, right? You please read page number 35, page number 36, 35 and 36, and we will continue. And it will be continuing on Iraq. Clinton is a years in Iraq invasion also. What happening in Iraq invasion? Why America was so much interested in Iraq invasion, right? Because Americans are they are well connected with the sources of oil fields. These Iraqi people, they have lots of oil fields, rich in oil, mineral resources, right? And uh, natural gases and all. That's why America is always very much interested in others' resources, so that it can use other resources for its own benefit. So tomorrow I will do these all. We will start from the page number 35. You please do read page number 35 and page number 36. Till then, take care and have a nice time. Thank you. Have a good day.